Wonderful people, welcome to this full moon reading that I'm going to do, this 3-card reading that I just laid out here, and we're going to dive into these 3 cards. It's again a little bit of a powerful reading which comes along to give you maybe and hopefully a message that you can all connect to. Try to connect to this on a very individual and a very personal level, because this is where maybe the message that comes through will be useful for you, or more useful for you, more direct, when you make it as personal as possible. I'm going to show you the first 2 cards, actually all 3 cards straight away, and they're all reversed. So let's have a look at this. We've got the Emperor reversed, we've got the Queen of Cups reversed, these 2 cards, and then we've got the Hermit reversed, which was a card that came up in a reading I did yesterday. So there's obviously like a bit of an energy of the Hermit reverse floating in the air today, or maybe in these days coming up to and around the full moon. So first of all, there's 3 cards here, 2 of which are major arcana cards that are all upside down. Whenever you get like 3 cards or more in a reading that are all upside down, I tend to see this as, okay, there's definitely a switch, there's definitely a shift that's needed, a shift of perception sometimes, a shift of the way you're looking at yourself, or the way you're looking at life, or the way you're looking at what's going on in the world around you, as well as a call for a little bit more honesty and a little bit more openness and a little bit more self-awareness, so that you can manifest or create this shift of perception. All of it's going to require or ask you to be aware in a way that you're not naturally aware, or you're not normally aware, or that it's not, you don't find it easy to be aware. Hence, there's a certain confusion in the reading when the cards come upside down. It means that you've got a little bit of inner work to do in order to bring clarity about this whole story, and the clarity might come slowly. The clarity doesn't need to be oh, I get it straight away. No, it's going to be, I get some of it, but then with a little bit more work you'll get a little bit more, and then you'll get a little bit more. And what I like to see, or what I've seen also in readings that are all upside down, is that when you manage to turn one perception around, when you manage to really embody one card properly, and it's usually the major arcana card if there's a group of cards. I'll usually focus on the upside down or the reversed major arcana cards, because that will talk about a theme and a general energetical realization of a deeper level of consciousness that needs to take place in order to have this kind of ripple effect of flipping all the other cards and allowing yourself to experience more clarity and more awareness of what they all might mean for you. However, there's 2 major arcana cards in this reading, and there's a Queen, a court card. There's none of the other normal minor arcana cards. So I would say that in this reading, whichever one of these cards triggers you the most or touches you the most, make that the one that you focus on really flipping in your life, and see if you can understand that flip will actually create a ripple for all the others. And it's one reading, so they're all connected. So let's look at these cards in a very connected way. Let's start off with the Emperor. And the Emperor reversed is all about order, and all about structure, and all about consistency and discipline, but also about initiating new things and initiating something that might be challenging in a way, which has got a lot of this Aries fire energy around him. And so he's that part of us that's willing to go out and dare to do something that might be slightly different, going to dare to do something that might be a little bit challenging to the status quo of what we imagine our life is normally like. And so it's going to be the challenge of asking us to do something different, something the same that we always do in a different way, or something completely new in the same way, or just something completely different in a different way. He's asking us for that openness to initiate something new. and to do so with discipline. So it might be something old that we're doing or that we've done 100 times before, but we have lacked the discipline to continue it and see it through. And this is what I see mostly in my own personal, this is the way I would take it for myself, is to see that, okay, there's something that I might have been doing that definitely works for me, but because I got distracted, or because I got bored, or because it stopped having the quick fix feeling about it, I might have stopped doing it. I might have lacked the discipline to continue doing actions that are good for me, and really focusing on what is important, because the Queen of Cups is going to talk about everything that's really important. And for me, it speaks about, hey, let's make that old story, that old habit, that old action that you've done before, make it a habit that sticks. Make it something that's real and consistent and balanced and structured into your life, so that it brings some order into the story, so that it becomes very easy for you to do. And maybe you can initiate it in a slightly different way. Maybe you can do it in a way you've not done it before. Make it interesting, make it exciting, make it fiery, for goodness sakes. But there'll be a challenge there. There'll be maybe a challenge like that, or maybe it's just the fear of doing something new because the comfortable is old. And this emperor isn't afraid to stand up and go, well, the old, you haven't seen old, I'm old. And he's willing to go, yes, I'm old, but I'm youthful in my ability to inspire myself to jump into whatever is needed in order to create the reality that I want right now in my life. And what is that? Well, the Queen of Cups will tell us what that is. And the Queen of Cups reversed is sometimes a little bit, okay, sometimes there's a fear here of connecting with our desires, our deeper desires. Okay, we might connect with our desires on one level, and we might follow those desires on one level. And we might have been following those desires on one level for a certain amount of time, and then found out, oh, they don't really fulfill us right now like they once did in the past. Why? Because we're evolving creatures, and we are beings that, you know, are in a consistent process of evolution where we're going to have to check in regularly and honestly and be a little bit more brutal, or be a little bit more open to wanting new things, and realizing that, okay, as we climb our way up our inner mountain, as we overcome challenge out of challenge in life, as we shift through the different phases and the different periods of our life and the different lessons that life has to teach us, what we want is going to change. What is truly and honestly aligned with our heart might one day appear black and the next day appear white. It can be, we can flip 180 degrees, and we might be telling ourselves, well, that's wrong, that's unstable, that's unbalanced, that's not real, that's whatever. Sometimes it is all of those things, but sometimes it's perfect to change. And what has worked for us in the past, what has been our previous desires, our desires of yesteryear, don't have to be the desires that we hold on for the rest of our lives. Moreover, we have to refresh those programs. We have to refresh our mind and stay true to our heart, stay true to what is feeding us love and giving us love in every moment. And that's going to change. That's going to change, and we don't have to fear it, but obviously it is going to be a little bit scary. And sometimes having new desires means dropping old stories, and dropping old stories is a scary story. And we might find that, you know, wanting new things or daring to want new things is going to open you up to the potential of maybe disappointment when you don't achieve something, and you will all have a memory or two of wanting something, not getting it, feeling disappointed, and coming to the conclusion that it's not safe to want something. And we'll all have also another attitude of daring to want something means that we're going to have to be honest with ourselves and say, well, actually, I want that. Well, how can you say that you want that when you've not done anything in your life to go out and get it, or the efforts that you've made to do it have been so superficially unreal that, hey, and we come in contact with our inner critic, which is telling us, hey, you want that, but you don't really want that. That's not really what you want. You just want safety and security that you're going to find in doing the same old, same old. So forget that new dream, forget your dreams in general, because they're dangerous. And we'll have this inner voice that will sometimes persuade us that what we truly desire isn't important, or is too dangerous, or we might doubt that real desire, and we might be afraid of encountering that inner critic. And that inner critic might well also be an outer critic, where we look at people in our life who just come in and go, yeah, but look at your actions, you've not done anything like that, look at all the mistakes you've made, look at all the stupidities that you are. And we fear that outer and inner critic and the way they mirror each other, and so it becomes even more difficult to be honest with what we want if we have spent at least some of our life not achieving that. That's another way this queen can stifle her own needs. This queen, this deeper feminine part of us that wants to come out and tell us about our truth, and tell us about what we really want and what is a heartfelt, really beautiful and loving desire. What that is, we might have an automatic program to shut it out, shut it off. And the Hermit relates to this as well. So the Hermit reverse, and it came up in this reading I did yesterday, can be different things. So I like to read this card when it's reversed as sometimes, there's this tendency to go in. We have this practice of climbing and achieving something, achieving a certain goal. 9 is this number of initiation. So there's this moment of initiation where we reach the mountaintop, like the Hermit has done, and then we turn around and go, whoo, yeah, wow, look at where I am. Oof. This has been a long journey, it's been an arduous journey, it's been a hard journey. I've done it on my own, I've dug deep, I found the will, I found the consistency, I found the persistency, and I found the discipline to take me to the top of the mountain. It's been a lonely journey, and that lonely journey has been difficult and challenging, but it's taken me and given me a certain amount of realizations, and it's given me a certain amount of light. And wow, it's been powerful, and we've done this journey, great. So what do I do now? You're at the top of the mountain, what do we do now? Oh, I've come and walked this path so that I can inspire and encourage others to walk the path. Are we afraid to do that? Are we afraid to turn around and come out of our lonely path, which is just us with us, slogging away, doing our thing, doing what we know is important for us? Are we afraid to come out and go, hey, does anybody want to validate my path? Like I think it's valid. There may be a fear around that validity. There may be a fear about being judged. We may be very comfortable with being on our own and a little bit afraid of actually showing ourselves and showing what we may feel is valid and a beautiful level of wisdom and understanding that we've gained. But for somebody else, we might think, oh yeah, but for them, nobody, it's not worth it. It's not really that important. Hey, who am I? I've got this imposter syndrome story coming out with this card when it's reversed. And we may be afraid to hold the lamp up and say, okay, I'm just showing you my path. We may be afraid of the same judgment. We may be afraid that this is something new that we haven't done before. We haven't shown everybody where we've been. We haven't enlightened our struggles. We haven't lit up the path that has been challenging and difficult for us. And in doing so, we're going to actually have to come out of our cave. There's that level of this card reverse, and there's this other story about, hey, make sure you continue to go inside. Make sure you continue to do this journey. This isn't a, oh, I've arrived and here's my light type story. And I relate a little bit more personally. This is my way of reading it for me, that I'll go inside and really do this work and do this climbing, and I'll get some realization, and I don't have any fear in sharing the light that I have, because I know it's been valid for me. But I'll have an inconsistency and a lack of discipline to go back in again and to stay relating to myself and stay on this path and keep myself with my focus on my inner journey, which is a continuous one. Yes, we've got to light the path, but yeah, you're still on the journey. It's not like you arrived anywhere. You're still going. We're still moving. You've still got growth to go on, boy. You've still got a path to climb. The mountain looks like it's finished, but hey, turn around. There's another one behind you. That type of story, and that consistency of, it's either there's a fear of coming out, or there's a fear of consistently staying in. Either way, connect with yourself, journal with yourself, be honest with yourself. Really, get the journal, and it's always a question of, for me, it's always writing to yourself, or having an honest conversation with yourself, and then questioning yourself as you're writing, questioning what the answers you're giving yourself, the stories that you're telling yourself, the beliefs that you're holding that are coming out on paper as you see it. Questioning all that story is one of the primary ways that we can initiate an inner dialogue. And as we initiate an inner dialogue, we initiate a process of change, because we can challenge ourselves in a safe way. We can receive more clearer, more beautiful ideas that may be much more true and honest. We can peel back the layers of superficiality which we're holding on to. We can look at our fears, and we can recognize how much this world is a mirror, and how much we need to be willing to jump into something else. We need to jump into the same thing with a deeper level of discipline. We need to stay reinventing and stay connected to the newer and the clearer heartfelt desires that we have. And don't be afraid to share it all with the world on one front, and on the other front, stay connected to that inner world, even if staying connected to the inner world means bumping into the challenges of your inner critic as you dive in and as you stay there, because the voices need to be heard, and they need to be understood why they're there, and we need to love ourselves despite of any inner criticism that might have a primary cause of protecting us from feeling pain. We need to be willing to sit with our pain, with our sadness, and with our grief, and with our dissatisfaction, and with our disappointment, and understand, this is just part of this journey. We need to be able to sit with all of that not so comfortable stuff, so that we can really get to the depth of what is truly important for us. Find the discipline and the courage to initiate new action accordingly, and then share something with the world, with other people, with your little world, whatever that might look like. Have a wonderful full moon, everyone. Love to hear your comments. Like and subscribe and do all that beautiful stuff, and tell me what you think.